Welcome back, everybody, to the Triad of the Force podcast, the podcast from friends coming together to do deep dives into Star Wars and other nerd-related media. Today, we would like to remember everybody that it is the anniversary of Jedi Talk, the first ever Star Wars podcast, which premiered February 7th, 1999. It is Star Wars Podcast Day. We're doing a Star Wars podcast. We like to talk about other things, but unless you were under the rock, it was the Super Bowl last Sunday, and as us Puerto Ricans like to call it, the Benito Bowl, because
Correct.
on, that was the best part of the Super Bowl. But there was some Star Wars content in there. We got a teaser trailer for Mando and Grogu. We got Pedro Pascal bailando en la casita. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the highlights of the Super Bowl, a little bit of Star Wars, and then obviously focus on that glorious halftime show by Benito Martinez Ocasio.
Yeah, it's the Benito Bowl. Super Bowl, before we get going into, and excuse me for everyone listening, if my voice sounds off, I'm sick and losing my voice, so hopefully I don't sound too off-putting. So I got my water so I can keep hydrating so we can keep talking, because there's a lot to talk about. But before we, get into the minutia, right, of that Mando and Grogu spot and the star of the night, which was Benito / Bad Bunny, did you care about the Super Bowl at all before this or in the past? I know, like in the past, we've talked about the ads that the Super Bowl puts out, or I mean, that people put out for the Super Bowl. But besides that, like, is football
that they pay millions of dollars for
millions? And I want to get and I want to get to that. But was football, American football, a sport that you or husbando cared about to actually engage with the Super Bowl with?
So no. In general.
Short answer. No. Period.
It just so happens, though, that when I was in college, I had the luck to go to Boston University, and those were the years when Tom Brady began his career, and the Patriots, I think, won 3 of the 4 years that I was in college, the Super Bowl. So you can't help but be contagious about it. I never went to an actual game.
I mean, who can, right? Nowadays.
Yeah. They used to show the Super Bowl at like the huge arena that BU has, and it was free for the students to go and stuff. So we did that a couple times, and it's fun. I mean, it's fun to watch it with other people, but it's not really a game that I've ever really followed or have an interest in it. And going into this one, I was even surprised to know that the Patriots had even made it to the Super Bowl at this point, because they've lost so many of their best players. And I
look at you, you know. That's I wouldn't have known that.
I know a little bit. See,
seems like you're in the zeitgeist.
But I was way more excited about Bad Bunny, Benito's halftime show. I mean, from the moment that I was announced, as we've talked about in this podcast before, I'm not like a huge fan of Bad Bunny. Or in like reggaeton in general, I'm just kind of a terrible Puerto Rican in that way, and there's no one way to be a Puerto Rican.
There's no one way to be Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You're excellent Puerto Rican. Just different flavor than
different flavor. And we come in all shapes, sizes, colors, and everything in between. Yeah. So,
and musical taste, and musical tastes.
And musical tastes, especialmente nosotros que somos más rockeros.
That's right.
But it was really exciting just because so many people were giving it so much hate, and it was creating so much controversy, and so many of like white hateful Americans were kind of like freaking out about it, that it just made it all the more interesting. And especially after how the residency was so successful and everybody said that it was such a great show. Yeah. It made you excited to see what he was gonna pull off at one of the most highly viewed events in the world. So yeah, but other than that, I don't really care about the Super Bowl. I went to sleep before it started, woke up just to watch the halftime show, and went back to sleep. So
yeah, it's one of those things that I was doing that joke at work. I like to do jokes and be deprecating, self-deprecating, all that stuff. So like I'm the only Puerto Rican in my office. So
okay.
Needless to say, there were a couple people, right, that come up to me to talk about the Super Bowl. I mean, not the Super Bowl, the Benito Bowl, excuse me.
The Benito Bowl.
And everyone that approached me, I was like, I didn't even know that they played a game before and after the show. which I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I thought that was pretty funny. But that is to say that American football, not my sport. I don't follow sports as a whole anyway. But from the list of spectator sports that there are, that one's like at the bottom of the list. Baseball's fun to go watch in a field, maybe not on TV. Basketball's fun to watch on TV and in a arena. Soccer or football, like the rest of the world calls it, is also fun to watch when the World Cup
football,
is around. Almost every single sport is actually entertaining to watch if you're in the right company. American football, not for me. I don't begrudge.
Hockey's really fun to watch live.
It's great.
It's fantastic to watch live.
And I'm kind of hardwired a little bit to enjoy hockey a little bit more, just because I grew up with a Nintendo 64 and Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey. So that game was great. And then when you get into the fist fights, I'm like, oh, this is amazing.
I'm all in.
Game.
Yep.
So watching it live is great. And I've only seen one game though. It was what's the Chicago team called? Oh my God, I'm being a bad Chicagoan. Blackhawks.
Sorry.
The Blackhawks, I think, is the Chicago team. Anyway, great game.
I only know about the Bruins. Sorry.
I don't even know who they are, so I don't know.
It's the Boston team.
Oh, I see. Good for them. I hope they won a Stanley Cup. I do know what a Stanley Cup is. But needless to say, if you've been listening to this podcast and the both of us, that we're not particularly sports inclined. So I think I've only ever seen one Super Bowl. And it was when I was in grad school, and obviously I went to grad school here in Illinois. So obviously I'm surrounded by more of that type of culture that embraces the sport. So saw it, and I was bored out of my mind. I mean, it's like, why would people waste 3-4 hours, however long it takes, just to watch a couple of commercials
and the after game and the whole thing? Yep.
Yeah, it's like the commercials are the best part, and all of them you can. And all of them you can watch on the YouTubes. So hey, I don't begrudge anyone their religion, because I know for some people this football is very sacred to them, and that's their church and temple. Just like maybe the movies is a temple for me. So I don't begrudge them, but not for me. So I was excited for this Benito Bowl though, because we had like that double whammy. It was announced or rumored / confirmed by the trades that Lucasfilm would be putting out a trailer for, or allegedly was going to be a trailer for the Mandalorian and Grogu, and then obviously we're excited culturally for the show that Bad Bunny was going to put on, which just from a business standpoint, and I want to talk about Bad Bunny after we talk about the Mando and Grogu spot, just because I think we have more to say about Bad Bunny, unfortunately, than we do about Mando and Grogu. But it was one of those things where I just lost my train of thought about it, but I just lost my train of thought. So I don't know. Oh, from a business standpoint, there we go. From a business standpoint, Bad Bunny, after Taylor Swift, or they're tied. I don't know, but he's the biggest artist in the world.
I think he just beat Taylor Swift. I think he doubled his Spotify views after the Benito Bowl. So
it's one of those things where he was number one or he was number two. At that point, it's immaterial. You're a global phenomenon, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not even about politics at that point. It's just business. It's like, okay, who do we want to have on our stage for our event? Why don't we just get the biggest artist in the world?
Right.
I mean, we'll talk about the politics of it later, because people insisted on putting a more racist and bigotry into the performance than it deserved. But it was just such a bizarre thing. It's like, this isn't woke. This isn't a statement by the NFL.
It was fun. It was just fun, honestly. The performance was just fun.
The performance was incredible, and it was so.
Oh no, it was incredible.
And we'll get to
with
it
the logistics of it. So we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But it was insane. So, Mando and
Grogu. What were you expecting?
So I was expecting a longer trailer, because the teaser that we already got, which is fun, but in all honesty, at first I thought it was fan made, because there's something about the title screen that I just hate. I don't know. Not that I hate campy because I don't. I love campy, but there's something about it that just kind of,
Mhm.
I don't know, disappoints me about the fact that this is like one of the biggest, you know, things that's going to happen to Star Wars in a while. It's, going to be the first theatrical release since,
Mhm.
you know, Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi. Oh my God.
I didn't even
Rise
catch that. I was just in
Rise
another
of
slide.
Skywalker.
There we
Sorry,
go.
I was. My God, I went back to Return. It's my brain rejecting the sequels. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Let's see.
Which
Just Rise. Just Rise.
just Rise because I love Force Awakens and Jedi. Sorry, I'm exhausted. I'm preparing for trial. So, and the Last Jedi. Yes. Um, so it's like this big, huge deal. And Mando has been one of those gateways for a lot of people who are not into Star Wars at all that started watching Star Wars because of The Mandalorian. So I feel like, the massive Star Wars machine has not been giving it the promotion that it
Mhm, mhm,
deserves.
mhm.
Um and then so I was expecting this one to be like, oh, we literally just teased you with the last one. Here you're gonna get a little something with a little bit more meat that
Mhm.
you can like dig into. And then it ended up being, kind of a mockery of the Budweiser commercials from the olden days. And
Yeah.
it was cute, but you know, there's nothing more we learned about the movie or anything
Mhm.
else. So I was kind of disappointed. I saw it and I was like, oh, is that the teaser of the teaser? Are we gonna get another one
Right.
like
Right.
later on?
Right.
And then it was like,
Right.
oh no, that's it. That's all you get. So I don't know. I was disappointed. What about you?
I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm an expert in marketing,
Of course, because we're not.
because we're not,
Yeah,
obviously, by any stretch of the imagination.
not even close.
Eh, and I don't want to sound like a curmudgeon, here that the longer
Which
we
I
do
just
it,
did.
the longer we do this podcast, the more we are just like, oh, that new Star Wars. I mean, that's not what
Hmm.
I want to sound like by any means, but I also don't want to just
Hmm.
just say good things all the time if that's not how I feel. So I'm gonna call a spade. And in this case, like the spade that I saw for Mando and Grogu was like bizarre. Bizarre is the word that I'm
Yeah.
gonna choose to use in this case because the movie is 3 months away and the
Right.
marketing has just been silent. It's one of those things where we know more about Starfighter that comes out in a year than we
Yeah.
do about Mando and Grogu. And we have like interviews with Sean Levy talking about the film. So it's very bizarre to me that the first film that's gonna come out to
Yeah.
restart Star Wars on the big screen, which is supposed to be the easiest home run in Lucasfilm's history because everyone and their mother knows
Loves the Mandalorian and loves
Baby
Grogu.
Yoda, but the marketing's just like not there. Like you said, we had like that teaser trailer like a couple months ago, and then kind of nothing.
Mhm.
So this spot was very bizarre to me, and I've been seeing lots of people on social media going hard defending it. And I'm just like, you got stock, you got stocks on Disney or something that you're going so hard in this defense.
And trying to find meaning to the.
I mean, and there's positives to the
Yeah.
spot. Will and I'll get to that. But in my mind, a lot of the comparisons were with the prequel era marketing, where like there were goofy ads, tie-ins for Revenge of the Sith with Burger King or Pepsi with Episode One. But in my mind, it's just like, yeah, but that was part of a bigger marketing campaign
Right.
where
Here we got nothing
you
else.
had
That
your
was it.
trailer,
That's all we
yeah.
got.
You had
Yeah.
like a massive lead up to it. So when you
Yeah.
have that, like all those things help plug it into all of pop culture. And when you just kind of spend, I don't know how many millions of dollars
Because it
for
has
a
to at this
minute,
point
you know,
at this point the Super Bowl ads have to be uh, again, I know nothing about marketing, but I know they have always done
irresponsibly expensive.
irresponsibly expensive. Yeah.
And then then that's it. That's what you give us.
Mhm.
Just like not even a full trailer next week or something like that to kind of build up hype or
Yeah.
something. I'm
No,
like,
it's this
I'm not
this is all you
sure.
get. Yeah. Mhm.
I'm not sure about it, and I don't want to sound cynical about it, but I think if we've had more of a marketing push, then this spot makes a little more sense because then like people are aware that this is happening. But like my biggest barometer is my partner. My partner's not plugged into Star Wars in the way you and I are. She's very
Yeah.
passive about it. And even she was telling me, it's like, I didn't even know there was a Mandalorian Grogu movie happening until you told me. So I'm just like,
Oh.
there we go. So I'm getting Solo vibes. Solo, I think, if I'm not mistaken, also released a trailer during the Super Bowl, and it kind of like quiet marketing towards the lead up. So in my mind, it's Lucasfilm or Disney, because I don't know who's to blame here,
Yeah.
confident about this movie because Avengers didn't do a trailer, like no Marvel movie did trailers during the Super Bowl. They're so confident. This is like, we don't need to do our marketing here. Like, people are gonna see this and we're gonna release it when it's appropriate. So the
And people
fact
will
that
watch it.
people will watch it, but the fact that this trailer or spot, it wasn't a trailer, this spot comes out
Yeah.
and it barely even mentions the movie, like at the end, exclusively, like it's
Yeah.
very strange, very
Yeah.
strange.
Yeah.
And I want to like it, right? I want
Yeah.
to be excited, but I'm just, this is it, like some
Underwhelmed.
tauntauns, some
Underwhelmed.
tauntauns. Like, I love tauntauns as much as the next guy, but
Yeah.
that's not gonna be like, oh my god, I'm so excited for this movie because they put a tauntaun on a shot. I'm just like, what is this? Is that the bar that we've set for ourselves? That, like, you show a creature from one of the movies and, like, that's enough. Like, okay, good, this is it. Like,
Yeah.
it's okay that we haven't
Yeah.
had a movie since 2019, but that tauntaun got me
Was everything.
going. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, if you liked it, that's fine. And we're
Yeah.
also going to be first in line or
Of
second,
course we
depending on who
are.
gets there first, to to watch The Mandalorian and Grogu. But I'm just very,
I
very,
was very confused.
very
Yeah.
confused.
I was
Yeah,
confused. Yeah.
it's not exactly. I don't want to make it seem that I'm saying that it was a bad spot, because I think it was great. I think the parody was
Yeah.
clever. The Sam
Yeah.
Elliott narration was wonderful. I hope that Phil Tippett did the maquettes for the Tauntauns, because they felt like they were actually,
Yeah.
not CG. They felt like they were actual stop
Yeah.
motion. Hopefully there's more that comes out about the making of
Yeah.
about it. But just in
But
terms of,
considering
like,
how close we are to the film and everything,
yes.
it's just it wasn't really the moment for it. If we were getting this film like next year or something, and
Mhm.
you're starting to like hint at greater aspects of it, it would have made more sense. But at this point in time, it was like you said, it was kind of um what?
Yeah.
That's all we get? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, like, if you don't pay attention right at the end, like, you wouldn't even know that
It's about the
there's a
movie.
movie.
Yeah.
It's bizarre because, again, like, the Star Wars fans that I hear, like, defending this spot, it's like, yeah, you know about it and you tuned in to see it. You have to think about the millions of people that were watching the Super Bowl, just
Who
oblivious
have no
to
idea.
oblivious
Yeah.
that there's a Star Wars movie happening, and then they see that and she's like, wait, what? I thought, like, man, season 3 of Mandalorian came out in 2023. Okay, like, we live in TikTok society where people watch
Yeah.
30-second videos and
And then
then
forget about
after
it.
5 minutes
Mhm.
forget about it. And you're gonna
Yeah.
tell me that your drama to start Star Wars hype, it's just gonna be a 20-30 second spot to remind everybody of characters that you haven't seen in 3 years, and
Mhm.
then expect them to show up. I mean, Marvel for Doomsday did that whole YouTube thing where it lasted, I don't know how many hours, where they were showing the back of a share that
Yeah.
had the name of all the cast. And people, as much as people complain about how silly Marvel was for doing that, everyone and their mother saw it.
Everyone freaked out. And
Everyone
everybody
saw
freaked
it,
out about it.
and
Yeah.
everyone knows about Doomsday, and everyone's gonna go see it. But ask your parents. I mean, ask your husband's parents and your family. I mean, your family will know because they're all nerds. But you know what I mean. Ask
No,
the
probably
the
only
normal
Wacko,
person.
actually. Nobody
I,
else probably knows that there's a Mando movie happening.
I hope they do. I hope. I hope.
Mhm.
But I will say this. I will say this. Unless you have something else to add about this Super Bowl spot. Pedro Pascal's appearance in La Casita for the
Oh,
Benito
yeah.
Bowl was much
Mhm.
more compelling
No,
to me
agreed.
than the Mando and
100%
Grogu.
agreed. Yeah. When I saw Benito en la casita, there's my Star Wars. There's my Star Wars. I got Pedro Pascal en la casita. I'm good. So I think this is a good moment to transition into Benito Bowl
The Benito Bowl,
2026.
Bad Bunny. Hey, man, the man crushed it. I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah. Mhm.
It transcended, and it's obviously for us it's a little different than for a lot of people because it touches us culturally, and there's like specific moments of that performance that I think elevated it to me to make it, besides an enjoyable performance, an emotional one. But
Mhm.
I didn't know what to expect from him. I know that his La Residencia en el Choli, the 7,000 shows that he did in Puerto Rico were
Yeah.
spectacular, and the production was great. But I don't know how he's going to translate that in an arena like this. And I think he crushed it. I think
He
every
nailed
single
it.
decision he did
Oh yeah.
was incredible. I think the guest that he uh, surprised everyone with was absolutely perfect. And for it was a show that, even if you're not the biggest fan of his music, which I haven't been historically,
Yeah.
like I do love his latest album. I think his latest
Yeah.
album is,
Debí tirar más fotos
yeah,
is really good.
that
Yeah.
album
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Hey,
Uh,
first Grammy album of the year completely
yeah,
in Spanish
yeah,
in
yeah,
history, and well deserved,
yeah.
honestly.
I'm like, it's like, I don't know what else there is to say. I mean, we'll say more, obviously, but I think that the only bad thing about this performance has been the minority voices that
Yeah,
are
of hate.
talking about it with hate and anger and racism and xenophobia and all these things that just are so hurtful, especially when it's a show that ended with a message saying the only thing more powerful than hate is love, and somehow that's something terrible and disgusting to quote certain presidents.
Right.
That's the thing that's hard for me. It's just like, see
Yeah.
this amazing moment for our culture and our language and our music finally make it like to one of the
And
biggest
just a
stages in the
testament to
world.
joy in general too.
Yeah.
And then
And then have people just,
yeah.
disrespect all of it, even though everyone wants to go vacation in Puerto Rico. Everyone wants to, go to our beaches. Everyone wants all these things. And then,
Get the
but
tax breaks too.
Jake Paul,
Oh,
screw you, because I'm gonna drop an F-bomb now. I'm not that charged up, but I think that's been kind of like the difficult thing to kind of wrestle with, which I guess it's self-inflicted because I'm on social media. But like, what was your process watching it, and the husbando enjoy it as well? Because I know that the three of us were not, like we were saying, we're not the
yeah.
biggest fans of this kind of music. So like, how was that experience?
So we met with family that we hadn't seen in forever on Saturday. So Sunday, my sister actually said that she was doing like a Super Bowl party at her house. The Super Bowl here wouldn't start till 7 p.m. Me and Husbando both have work, on Monday. So we were like, love you guys. We're not doing that.
Mhm.
We're dead. Adulting and being old kind of sucks.
It does very much.
We actually just had a really super regular Sunday doing tons of laundry for the week. And when it got time towards the Super Bowl, we were dead. We actually fell asleep. I woke up to watch the Super Bowl the halftime show, because I did want to watch it. And Hosbando was dead. So Hosbando didn't actually see it till Monday morning on YouTube.
I mean, that's
And he
fine.
didn't,
If
which
you're
is
only
fine.
gonna see the
Yeah.
the
The
performance,
halftime show,
you don't need
the
to, yeah.
Benito performance. So and he cared even less, because Hosbando is actually a big fan of old school reggaeton,
Mhm,
but
mhm,
not the newer like trap and everything that a lot of the newer artists are doing. So he didn't really care in general. So, but I watched it first, and then I rewound Peacock to watch it like 3 times more before going to bed. I was like, honestly, having
it was
so
that
much
good.
fun watching it. And I feel like I've watched it a few times since, and also, before doing the podcast. And every time I watch it, I catch something new
Mhm,
from
mhm,
it, which I think it's the most amazing thing. Um, I wasn't sure what he was gonna do, because usually they do like an actual stage,
mhm.
and the setup that he had. I mean, just the logistics behind it, because you only have every second counts for this
Mhm,
performance,
mhm.
like getting everything in, doing the performance, and then getting everything out in a
Yeah.
timely fashion. I heard there were concerns about the weight, so that's why you see like a lot of people were wearing the
Yeah, that's
actual
hilarious.
pastizal
Yep, yep,
instead
yep.
of it being a set, so they wouldn't destroy the field. So it was, when it opened up, and by the way, with como es que rico es el latino, hoy
Mhm,
se
mhm.
bebe, and then you
Mhm, mhm.
start, and it starts with the title screen in Spanish, like old telenovela style
Mhm,
written,
mhm,
just
mhm.
gorgeous. And then you start in the sugarcane field. And the way everything transitions from one part of the performance to another, just the level of practice to get all of that coordinated, not just the set, but all of the dancers, all of the extra performers.
Mhm.
Every movement was almost perfect. Just the attention to detail. Even if you didn't enjoy it, you have to appreciate that just the attention to detail and the artistry to this performance was on another
Mhm.
level. I loved it. And then when he starts, and like I was saying, I'm not a huge fan. And then he starts with Titi Me Preguntó, which is
Banger.
one of
It's
the
a
first
banger.
songs that I actually started liking because my nieces, who are super young and they obviously don't understand the lyrics, but the rhythm of that song, it's like se te prende la música por dentro, and my nieces cannot control it. It's like, you feel the music within and you can't help us Puerto Ricans but dance. That was one of the songs that I really started liking about Bad Bunny, and so that he started with that, I think was really cool. And then that whole sequence, he's walking through the sugar canes, and then you see the guy con los coco, the piraguas. There's like a taco stand. There's los dones playing dominoes. The girls doing the nails. It's so great. Hay una casa de empeño también where it's like everything about it was so just that sequence. So that was just the first sequence there, and in such little time, he brought so much of the things that are nostalgic to us in Puerto Rico and then to bring it to the world was so great. So, and that was just like the first arc.
Yeah.
How did you feel about it?
Well, when it started, I was actually like a little, like, I mean, is worried the right word? Let's go with worried, right? Because he's in el pastizal, like in the tall grass, like you were saying. So I'm just like, oh my god, it might be a little weird then for if this whole performance is gonna be him
in there
and
stuff.
Close. That's gonna suck for everybody.
Who's closer to the field
stadium,
and they can't see
around
it.
the stadium who can't see anything. Actually, like there's a couple of videos that have come out of like that first part where nobody can see anything because he's in the tall grass.
But they also have the
jumbotrons
jumbotrons though.
Exactly. But if you're going to a concert, you don't want to look at the screen. You want to look at the artist. So like at first I'm like, oh my god, is he just gonna do so I was a little worried at that point. But
and then it opens up.
As it progressed, and then you see La Casita and he jumps out and he's on the roof and like all these things start happening. I'm like, okay, this is pretty fucking good. And I think that deserved an F-bomb there. But for me, I mean, it's all the coding, right? That everything is doing there, because it's not just like, okay, this is a Puerto Rican thing, here's another Puerto Rican thing, here's another Puerto Rican thing. It's about the layered meaning, right? That everything is talking about, because it's not, it's talking about colonialism and the exploitation of the jibaro and the laborer and the sugarcane fields, and then like the culture that has to come up from that. And La Casita, like a typical humble Puerto Rican home, but then the displacement onto New York, and that's when Nueva York song comes out, and you see like Toñitas and all the bodegas and stuff from New York there of the displacement, right, of Puerto Rico, like in the 70s and everything like that. So I thought it was beautiful, right? It's one of those things where you don't have to. It's one of those, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you can find out if you're interested in learning more about the culture. But it's one of those things where it blew my mind how clever everything was, because it wasn't shoving anything down your throat, like, oh, here's my statement about all of these things. Everything was done in such a artistic way that I think that everything was, it made everything easier to digest, I think, if you're coming at it from a place of not knowing. But three things kind of took my breath away a little bit. One thing which I thought was genius, Lady Gaga.
Oh yeah.
I'm like
singing and dancing.
And dancing. Her new song with Bruno Mars, changed to salsa. I was like, this is perfect. And I'm just like, see, like, for everyone that said like, oh, this is only gonna be in Spanish, it's like, no, there you go. There's a song in English right there with one of the
with salsa
best, with one of the whitest and most famous pop stars
right behind her, and the way they
the wedding that happened before. Yeah.
Oh no, the wedding, which was a real wedding. I still can't believe that was an actual real wedding. Those people actually got married on stage.
I mean, that's not a bad way to do it.
No, that's not that is definitely not a bad way to do it. Um, but yeah, the way that she was dressed, and I think I read somewhere the designers are from the Dominican
Yeah,
Republic,
yeah.
and the blue is that original
Blue of the
light
flag, yeah.
blue of the flag, and then she had La Flor de Maga, which is the flower of Puerto Rico, and she was doing salsa, and she looked so happy to be there.
Yeah. She
Like
looked
she
absolutely
just
thrilled.
looked
Yeah.
so happy to be there, and this is Lady Gaga. This is a monster of a musician.
Yeah.
And she is just like so excited to be there in the backdrop of this wedding, which, as you know, Puerto Rican weddings are the absolute best.
There.
And
facts.
There was so much symbolism there, like the little kid, because obviously the
little
football
kid sleeping
goes through the whole thing, but the kid's sleeping on the football on the seats, which is what happens at pretty much every Christmas
wedding,
party or weddings that we've ever been to, because our celebrations go till late, and the children are not told to go to bed. They are part of the celebration.
Yeah, you wait for the adults. Yeah.
Yep. They sleep in a corner. You see one where there's like a grandfather dancing with the granddaughter. Like everything about that scene is just so beautiful. And yeah, so you said, so Lady Gaga was one of the ones that really struck you.
Which, for multiple reasons, right? Not just because Lady Gaga's amazing and the song was great, but also because the optics of it. She's like, oh yeah, it's not just, me bringing like all my cohorts. He's like, no, like it's about embracing everybody and embracing all of it. So I think that was good, because then people are going to say like, oh, nothing was in English. It's like, no, look, I brought Lady Gaga and she sang in English a full song. So, but then the part that then comes right after that's like when the power pulls. When he comes up the power pulse, and it's like, that was such good imagery. And then he's singing on top of them, which the whole time he was like, please don't fall, because I didn't see him tied into nothing. So I
kind of saw that he was trying to do it, but then he didn't. I was like, oh no, he's gonna fall.
I'm like, please don't. That would be so embarrassing. But he didn't fall. But like, that was beautiful, right? Because it's one of those things where and he has the song about it, right? El apagón. It's the thing that we have been dealing with as an island for decades at this point. It's the unreliable power grid, especially after Hurricane Maria, and to kind of see that symbolized in that way. And then when he comes down, all the jibaros like flip out and like the explosion happens. I'm like, that hit me where I live, because I live in Chicago now, so I wasn't home during Maria. I was home during Irma, and then Maria happened. Maria happened like what, like 2 weeks after Irma, something like that.
We still hadn't gotten electricity back from Irma when Maria struck.
So my experience with Maria was like not knowing anything about you guys, because like there's no power, there's no phones. We went
off the grid for a while. Yeah,
so I didn't know anything about my family. I didn't know anything about you guys. So it was.
And we're metro area, so it wasn't nearly as bad as the rest of the island.
And exactly. So that's how bad it was.
Oh yeah.
So like to see that, it's kind of like it's the memory, the living memory, right, of all of us Puerto Ricans, both in and out of the island. So it really touched a special place. And then it's kind of the third thing, which I think is the cherry on top, which accentuates everything, is all of a sudden our second guest performer, Ricky Martin, just showing up and singing a song that I was not expecting Bad Bunny to whip out for this, singing Lo que le pasó a Hawaii.
Especially with right before Ricky Martin comes up, they're doing the cuatro, which for all of our American friends is like a different version of the guitar. It's not like a ukulele, es diferente el cuatro, and the guy vestido como un jíbaro with the straw hat and el cuatro, and then you pan out to Ricky Martin in a remade set for the portrait of De Víctima Más Fotos, the album, which is like we've all seen that. If you're Puerto Rican, you've seen that. You've seen those two plastic chairs with like plantains behind you, and that's your typical setting. And then to have like Ricky Martin sitting there and then sing an excerpt of Lo que le pasó a Hawaii was just like,
which incredible song. It's also a political song, right? Because it's talking about what is happening in Puerto Rico and contrasting it with Hawaii. What happened to Hawaii was, very similar, right, to what has happened to Puerto Rico. It was kind of a stolen island in of sorts also. So that was very poignant, you know. So and then kind of ending it with "Debí tirar más fotos," which is one of the most emotional
Debí
songs
tirar
for
más
me.
foto.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially when you live out, you know, and like all those lyrics are about,
Yeah, and you're
you know,
not
and
here.
you're not here
Yeah.
and you're not there. It's just like it hits hard. So you know the whole thing and everyone coming out, especially with the American flag, which I thought is especially important for him to come out with because it's you can't talk about unity if you're not bringing everybody together,
Everybody, yeah.
and
If you're not being inclusive. I
that
know. But it
includes
was so
the
great
United
when you see
States.
them from running out from the back
Yeah.
and how important it is that because a lot of people from the United States think that the United States is the entirety of
Yeah, it's
America.
America.
And
Yeah.
when you say America, you're just the United States. And I think it's so important that he mentioned everybody, Canada, you know, all the Southern
Special
American
shout out, yeah,
states.
to Canada. I've
Sí,
seen
sí,
all
hasta
the social
Canada.
media things of all the
Yeah,
Canadians
because it's
feeling
like we're all
seen.
America. Like these are all the countries of America and running out with all the flags and everybody that's carrying a flag being so joyful about it. And then at the end, like Mi Patria, and then the ones at the end are very like bomba with el guiro and the drums and everything, y las panderetas, and just like and they timed it perfectly with like the fireworks that were going
Yeah,
in the back
yeah,
too.
yeah.
There at the end, as he says all the names, and then Mi Patria, Puerto Rico, and then the football that he has been like the motif of the entire segment, throwing it down with like, this is where we're at. We're together. We're America. We're together. And then he's basically like run out of time towards the end, get out, and he's just screaming, "Debí tirar más foto." It was fantastic.
Phenomenal.
It was
Sublime.
so good.
Sublime. It really transcended
Yeah. It was so much better than I was ever expected,
Yeah.
honestly.
It
And
was. It was.
and it makes you really, I mean, and then at the Joe Trot at the end, you know, the more powerful thing than hate is love, which is what he said at the end of his Grammy speech. And then you have that scene where he's giving like a younger version of himself, or just a young Latin child or any child a Grammy saying, "This is possible. Like you can dream.
This is your dream.
These things can happen." I mean, it's oh my god, it makes me want to cry. But there were so many amazing moments, like you were saying. And as I said before, like every time I watch it, I pick up on something else. I mean, you see the transitions of clothing, like you see Los Jibaros al principio, and then we get bomba at the end. So there's white all throughout. There's white at the wedding. You have kind of the street clothing in Nueva York, and you know, it goes through like all these different aspects of not just being a Puerto Rican, but just being Latin and being, you know, part of all these cultures. And I thought it was also really great that he didn't shy from going dembow reggaeton and not shying from it. You know, it just trying to acclimate to white American expectations and just trying to keep it clean. And he was like, no, I'm doing reggaeton. I'm doing, o sea, ella perrea sola, which is, you know, las mujeres, and
a banger. It was also good.
A banger. And then having that when it's ella perrea sola, like the entire choir of dancers are women, you know, owning it. And the choreography was insane, by the way. I mean, it's so good.
Yeah.
And then you have that moment where he's like at the truck and he does old school reggaeton songs, like he does Don Omar, Daddy Yankee, Héctor el Father.
He gives props to Teo Calderon, which is my
Teo
favorite.
Calderon.
Don Omar, and then obviously every white person's favorite reggaeton song, Daddy Yankee's Gasolina. And when he did that, I'm like, that's how you get them. You just remind them that they liked it before.
Y Héctor el Father.
And I mean, you gotta give credit. You gotta give credit where credit's due.
Credit where credit's due. Yeah.
And he did that. So yeah, it was an incredible performance, and I think something as powerful can only. I am glad that it broke records for the most watched halftime show in the history of halftime shows. So that's amazing. But you know, we have to get like a little political too about it, because the performance, as beautiful and artistic as it was, also was making statements, right? It wasn't outright saying, you know, fuck ICE or anything like that, but you know, by bringing all these Latin American countries together, it was making a statement about like unity and love and respecting all of the people that are just trying to make a life in America, right? Not just the countries where they're from. You know, America is the plurality of all of us, and we can talk about like all the negative opinions that have come from that, but I think that's boring. I'd rather
I know.
talk about like one of the interesting bad takes that a lot of liberals have had, which to me, like, and I really want your opinion on this.
Okay.
I've posted my opinion on social media for it because I was so annoyed by it. But for me, did you watch Get Out, the Jordan Peele horror movie?
No.
Well, there's a line in that film. It's, you know, the film's about racism,
Mhm.
and that spoiler alert for everyone that hasn't seen it. Probably a 10-year-old movie at this point. But there's this scene where the dad in the film, white guy, it tells the black protagonist, it tells him like, "Oh, I would have voted for Obama a third term," right? So that's kind of like become a meme of a phrase just
Okay.
because it just represents like that liberal, performative liberal. Um,
Mhm.
so like the big thing that now that I've seen on social media for a lot of these liberal accounts, American liberal accounts, mostly white people, it's just like, after that Super Bowl, Puerto Rico should be the 51st state.
Oh God.
And I'm like, how cringe is that? Like how privileged and colonial minded do you have to be that your response to this amazing performance by a Puerto Rican artist that is making a statement about, you know, immigration, colonialism, and all these things is to be like, hey, actually, we know that we invaded the United States invaded your island, and we have been oppressing you for over 100 years and everything, but you don't get to decide for yourself. We liked your show so much that now we need to own you completely. Um, which I'm gonna preface everything that I'm saying by saying that I'm not saying that there aren't Puerto Ricans that want statehood, because
Because
that
there
is
are.
a completely valid
Mhm.
status opinion, right? That everyone's allowed to have. But in my view, it's just like it's kind of disrespectful to tell Puerto Ricans what they should be instead of just affording us the opportunity to just decide for a change what we want to do instead of just throwing your opinion at us. It's like, let us tell you what we want. So what do you think? Am I off base here? We always need to have differing opinions. So, or maybe not. Maybe you're on the same side.
Well, here's the thing. Um, I also feel like the Puerto Rican political environment is complicated. It's not only one-sided. There are, like you were saying, a lot of people who do advocate for statehood. There are a lot of people who want to remain the status quo. A lot of people want independence. There's no consensus.
Hmm.
So there's no actual voice for that.
Hmm.
I also think that people that are not from here should not be giving their opinion either way.
I agree.
you know? So and we've seen lo que le pasó a Hawaii
Hmm.
when they got colonialized, and their culture has been almost destroyed towards extinction.
Hmm.
So when you're an artist like Bad Bunny is, obviously, uh I do believe that you need to put your message out. You need to stand for something. You need to promote, you know whatever you think that is right. And
Hmm.
I think he's been doing excellent in putting not just Puerto Rican people on the face of almost everything. Like he's
Hmm.
just like showing Puerto Rico culture to the world, which doesn't necessarily look like that to everybody, because
Hmm.
not
Hmm.
necessarily everybody agrees with that. We still have to be talking about the Hibaro and all the
Hmm.
other things. So
Hmm.
so not everybody's going to agree with the way that he interprets being a Puerto Rican,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
But that's the way he sees it. And I think we have to be careful about political messages when you're also somebody who's making bank
Hmm.
from
Hmm. Hmm.
promoting yourself as an artist. Because let's be real, he has used the angle of I am a Puerto Rican, I'm a proud Puerto Rican, and it has, skyrocketed his career. So it's not just, for artistry's sake
Hmm.
also. So I think we always have to take everything with a little grain of salt. And the truth is, at the end of the day, if he really wants to imbue change, now that he's been so, you know, in the face of everything, you can go for public office. You can actually make real change within the system. So I think everything should always be taken with a grain of salt of what you're trying to do. But at the end of the day, I don't think you should ever tell people what they should be doing.
Couldn't agree. Couldn't agree more. It's it's just bizarrely cringe.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, oh, now you're successful. Yay. Now you can join the United States. It's like,
I mean, to me, and you know, people might disagree with this view of it, but the way that I was thinking about it yesterday, right, was just like, you know, it's you've been living in a. I mean, and this is, you know, what I'm about to say is not to say that you know, the United States is completely bad, right? Because there are obviously great things about the United States and whatnot, but in terms of the relationship that it has had with Puerto Rico, not historically great, right? So that's what I'm basing what I'm about to say as. It's just like you've been you're taken out of your home to live with a stepfather who has been abusive all your life, and all of a sudden you've kind of or have this glimmer of success or kind of are about to, you know, make a name for yourself, and then they're like, hey, actually, you know, you get to move in with me now and be part of this home, even though I've
now I acknowledge you. Now move in.
It's just like, what? Like, don't I get
now you can take my last name?
Don't I? Yeah, like, don't I get to choose for myself what I want to do after being part of this toxic relationship? So that's kind of how I compare it, and it's one of those things where I think that if people are going to opine about what they think is best for Puerto Rico, they should first study what the United States has done historically to Puerto Rico, which, you know, not good. The forced sterilization of women, that was a thing that happened.
Oh yeah, that's insane.
So, you know, and let's just put it at that there's a lot of horrifying things that have been done to our people.
We also do have to take with a grain of salt that a lot of other Southern American countries, I mean, all they would love is to be American citizens, to have the privileges that come with it. And with all the oppression that has come with it, us Puerto Ricans, we do have the privilege of having an American passport and having American citizenship. So we have to take that into consideration when talking about other Southern American countries. So just
definitely
leave it at that.
Nuanced.
Yeah. But aside from that, let's go back to happier topics, because there was so much else that I loved about it too. I loved that on his shirt he had Ocasio on the back, which is his mother's last name, which I feel like a lot
I was so dumb. I didn't get it. I was just like, I was like, is this one of the players that's playing today? I was dumb. I didn't. When I read about it, I'm like, I'm a idiot. That's
I didn't see it. I saw it immediately. I loved it because I feel like a lot of people don't understand it. And I can't speak for other Southern American countries. I don't know if they do it the same as we do, but we usually do use both of our last names. So like we like to say we don't forget about our mothers. You know, we always keep them present as well. It's always our second last name. And I've been really upset about the fact that I had to renew at some point my passport in Massachusetts last minute, like at the office, and they didn't get that. And they took my second last name off, and I've never been able to get it back on my passport.
That's so weird.
Yeah, it was really weird because just Americans, just like white Americans, sorry, United States. We have to denormalize saying American means just United States people. Like they don't understand that we use both of them. And then they don't even understand that we tend to use our second first name too, because we have a second first name, second last name. And I thought it was great that it's like an homage to the mother. And I think it's also very important that, I mean, most of us women in Puerto Rico, we don't give up our maiden names. Like we get married, we keep our maiden name. I don't know if it happens everywhere else, but my sister, me, my mom, all my aunts, my grandmothers, they all kept their maiden names. And it's, you always keep, you know, which is actually strange because studying law, our old civil code, which was active until 2020, actually required that by law the woman was supposed to change her last name to her husband's name.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy because por uso y costumbre, which is like the custom of Puerto Rico, women would keep their last name. So it was really strange for me to find out that by law it was supposed to be the other way around, and women didn't care in Puerto Rico. They kept their last names. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's like my mom never changed her name, but she would use my dad. It was like she would flip flop using it depending on like what it was for, but for the most part, yeah, my mom always uses or
Yeah.
made a name. Yep.
So it's those little things that I really like. And like I said, every time I watch it, I find something new that brings a smile to my face. So I don't know. I think it was great. I think it's an eye opener. I think one of the great parts about it is that it has opened up room for all these
Mhm.
conversations to happen for people that had no idea what, Latin culture is or Puerto Rican culture or the fact that there are more countries in America than the United States. Just
Yeah.
that in itself, I think makes the performance worthwhile.
It blows my mind that some people don't even know that America is the name of
Yeah.
the continent and that there's different,
And it's
there's
not the
North
United
America,
States.
South
Yep.
America, and Central America and the Caribbean. I mean, it's like, this is basic stuff, my guys. Like,
No
this
idea.
isn't AP history here. This is just basic world history. Um, but yeah, no, it was definitely, hey, I will, besides the fact that it really hit in a cultural and emotional level because I'm Puerto Rican, so it really hit in a different way. It was definitely nice to have that as a counterbalance for my great disappointment with the Mandalorian Grogu spot because
Yeah.
I saw that and I'm just like, whoa, man,
This is it.
this
There's
is
gonna be
it.
another one, right? Before it's done.
Yeah,
Oh no, there wasn't. Mm-mm.
and so like I'm very happy that we started with something that maybe was not uh, meeting the expectations that we have for better or worse, and then we end up with this like big beautiful cultural event that just promotes peace, love, and unity. And if you're triggered by a message of love and unity, I don't know what to tell you, especially if you call yourself a Christian. I don't know what to say about it.
Look at yourself in the mirror a little bit.
Look at yourself in the mirror and and I don't know. I remember back in my day when when we were all but youngins. I remember everyone was so proud that America was the great melting pot. And it's like, yeah, you got to keep stirring it. You got to keep adding ingredients, otherwise
Claro.
it's not a melting pot anymore. It's just like, let's be proud about that and not have that be uh, a reason for bigotry and otherism. Like we're it's a United States, not a divided states.
Yeah.
So
Which was so great about the message because he kept he kept saying San Francisco, and
mhm,
the
mhm, mhm.
entire stadium would scream every time. It's like because he could have made
Not an
it
English
about
name, by the way. San Francisco. I wonder why it's a
claro,
Spanish
San
name.
Francisco, Los Ángeles, todo lo demás estamos en California. Um, but yeah, because it was great because he could have gone hard on like fuck ICE and all
Yeah.
these like hateful messages, and he went the other way. It was like we are all America. Like this is all unity.
Mhm, mhm.
Everybody celebrate this. Like just because I'm celebrating my culture doesn't mean I'm rejecting your culture. I'm
Right,
trying to
right,
find a
right.
way to get you to understand my culture so that you can make it a part of yourself or not. Like you don't have to like everything about anything. You don't have to like reggaeton. You don't necessarily need to learn to speak Spanish or listen to it. You just need to accept that there are other cultures and other points of view
Mhm.
aside from your own and
And be
not hate.
be
And
fine. Just like, hey, you don't like it, you don't have to watch it, but you also don't have to hate and discriminate against it.
yeah. And
But
I think that was the message that he wasn't being exclusive about it. It wasn't like, oh, this is only about Latin people. This is
yeah,
only about Hispanic people. This is only about Puerto Ricans. It wasn't. It was about like opening the door to come find out about us.
it was God bless America, and America isn't just
See? And America is not just the United
the
States.
continental United States. It's
Mhm.
a very big place with a lot of different and beautiful people. But I think we could be talking about our disappointment
Yeah.
with the Mandalorian Grogu spot forever. We could be talking about the
The Benito
amazing
Bowl.
Sublime Benito Bowl and how we hope
Mhm.
he's invited next year. Again, it's just like just keep bringing him, make the haters hate. But I think this is a good spot, to take it and end with love,
And with
and
love.
and compassion, which we need
Yeah,
a lot more of.
definitely. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us. Let us know what you thought about the Benito Bowl, what you thought about the Mando Grogu spot. Maybe you loved us, loved it,
Change
convince
our
us that
mind.
we are wrong. It's fine. Change our mind. Remember Star Wars Podcast Day. And let us know what you want to talk about. We already have plans to talk about Maul, Shadow Lord coming up soon. We will always have more episodes, talk about Star Wars, talk about everything that we love, media wise and otherwise. So please leave a comment, like, subscribe, and until next time, may the Force be with you.